Welcome to the Chapter 6 video. Chapter 6 introduces topic sentences. This lecture will extend those concepts a little bit and show how they work in more realistic writing situations. This lecture will have some activities, so keep a pen and paper handy and be ready with the pause button. Now, we've talked already about paragraphs, why we choose to use paragraphs in persuasive writing. Paragraph breaks help the reader take a little pause, get ready to think about the next point that the next paragraph will make. So the first sentence of a paragraph, the topic sentence, should express that main idea in a clear, concise way, and then the rest of the paragraph will support that main idea in various ways, perhaps with examples, with evidence, further discussion, and so on. So the topic sentence has to do a lot of jobs. It's a very important sentence. It requires a lot of effort to craft a good one. The topic sentence should do three main things. It should in some way connect back to the thesis, the main idea of the whole paper. That is to say, I should be able to see what this specific paragraph has to do with the whole essay overall. If I can't make that connection, if I can't figure it out as a reader, then I might feel like the essay is disorganized or like the writer is a little bit lost or taking on a rabbit trail. Next, the main thing, the most important thing that the topic sentence does, it introduces and guides the main idea of that paragraph. The rest of the paragraph will support it, give evidence for it, and so on. And then one more thing that the topic sentence might be able to do is create a logical bridge between what just came before the previous paragraph. And that can be as simple as a transitional word or phrase. So let's go back to this first thing and take that apart a little bit and ask how a topic sentence can connect to a thesis. The topic sentence might do any of these things on this list, giving a reason for the thesis, setting up an example or counter arguments, and so on. Oftentimes, I try to look for a single word or phrase in the topic sentence that's shared in the thesis as well. So maybe the main topic, a word like immigration or death penalty or something like that connects to the thesis, or a synonym, but some key idea that's shared between the two sentences, and that shows me that that topic sentence is closely enough connected to the thesis. Let's take a look at this paragraph. This comes from the Bedford Handbook, and we're going to look at how this topic sentence sets up the ideas that the rest of the paragraph then will support or give examples for or whatever. So the topic sentence here is, all living creatures manage some form of communication. So if I just look at that topic sentence, I'm going to figure as a reader, the rest of this paragraph is going to be talking about the kinds of communication that all the living creatures do. So let's see if the rest of the paragraph fulfills that prediction. The first sentence, the dance patterns of bees help point their way to distant flower fields. That's some form of communication. Check, that one works. Male stickleback fish swim upside down to indicate outrage. That's a kind of communication, so that works. Male deer and lemurs mark territorial ownership. That's communication. A frightened dog puts his tail between his legs. Oops, misspelling there. And runs in panic. And then we use gestures, humans, postures, and movement. So those are both communication. So in fact, the paragraph gives examples one after another that all are summed up by this sentence. In fact, sometimes if you think of the topic sentence as a summary, a summing up of everything that the paragraph is about, it might be easier for you to write your topic sentence after you've written the paragraph rather than before. Once you know what you're going to say, then writing the topic sentence at the end and just moving it to the top can be an effective strategy. Let's take a look at another example here. In this particular example, this is a a paragraph of explanation. The topic sentence isn't actually the first sentence, but it does come early in the paragraph, and it does express what the whole paragraph is about. So here, I would say that this first sentence is sort of setting up or like introducing the reader to the idea, but then this sentence actually summarizes the main point. Water violates the rule that the solid phase of matter is more dense than the liquid phase. And then if you read on, the rest of the paragraph explains how that happens, how water violates that rule of being more dense. Let's try an exercise. If we start with a topic sentence, this comes from a book called The Garden Survival Guide. The topic sentence is, compost is the great melting pot of the gardening world, as there are numerous ingredients that can blend together to create an excellent product. Pause the video for a moment and just jot down some ideas of what you think the rest of this paragraph will do. What will it explain something? Will it give examples of something? Will it describe something? What exactly is going to be likely to be found in the rest of this paragraph? All right, if you've written down that the rest of the paragraph should give examples of the ingredients or describe the ingredients that can be part of compost, perhaps very different kinds of ingredients that blend together and how they blend together, then you're right. That is exactly what this the rest of this paragraph in fact does. Let's try another one. This one comes from a Christian book called Mudhouse Sabbath, and in particular this chapter of the book is talking about hospitality and what hospitality means for Christians, why it's an important virtue. So the topic sentence of the paragraph that we're going to look at says, some Christians have embraced hospitality with vigorous radicalism. Pause the video for a minute and think about what the rest of this paragraph is likely to contain. All right, if you have guessed that the rest of the paragraph discusses examples or situations of how Christians embrace hospitality and in radical ways, then you're right. The paragraph goes on to talk about people who have moved into neighborhoods that are poor or struggling so that they can show hospitality to the people who live there. It talks about Christians who have invited others to live with them, who have provided rooms for the homeless in their own homes, and some of those radical examples of hospitality. Last one. This one comes from a book that talks about women in the clergy, and it's called Why Not Women? So the topic sentence for this paragraph is, contrary to the teaching of Scripture, the rabbis said that woman is more prone to sin than man. Again, pause the video, think about what this paragraph will discuss. All right, if you've guessed that the paragraph is going to discuss why the rabbis believed that women were more prone to sin, then you're right. Although the author doesn't believe that, he's discussing a counter-argument, people who are on his opposition. He gives examples or gives reasons for why they held this belief in this paragraph. Okay, lastly, the third thing that we looked at of what topic sentences are meant to do is that they should bridge the previous paragraph and the new one. So transition words and phrases, here are a few examples. There are many, many more. Words like thus, additionally, and so on. So think about how your paragraphs relate to each other. Does this new paragraph continue the thought of the previous paragraph? Does it contrast to the previous paragraph? Is it a logical conclusion from the previous paragraph? And decide which transition word or phrase will best help your reader understand that relationship between those two ideas. Okay, a couple more exercises here and examples. Here's an example of a paragraph, and I want to take a look in particular here at how this paragraph or this topic sentence accomplishes all the things that we've just been talking about. So the thesis of this essay, the student was writing about how suburbs benefit our contemporary lifestyle. In some ways, she was writing in response to an essay that we read in class that argued against suburbs, that said, suburbs were terrible, sprawl, and, all of that. So she was actually arguing, no, suburbs benefit us. They're good. So here's one of her paragraphs. Actually, I believe it's just the beginning of her paragraph, but it'll illustrate our point. Here's her topic sentence. Most importantly, suburbs offer the opportunity of expansion. So all the things that we talked about are present in this topic sentence. She has a transition, most importantly. So it shows how this point fits with all the other points. It's the most important one. This topic sentence offers a shared term, suburbs. So we see how it connects to the thesis. And finally, the rest of the paragraph, it sets up the ideas for the rest of the paragraph. The opportunity of expansion. And she goes on to talk about how more space will be needed, something has to expand in order to accommodate the rise in population, and so on. All right, here's another example, same essay, a different paragraph. She writes, living within the suburbs can also provide a neighborhood-like setting for your family. So here we have, again, the shared term that connects it to the thesis, why suburbs are beneficial. We have a topic sentence that introduces the main idea of the paragraph, that it creates a neighborhood-like setting, and she talks about how different it is from the city. It creates, home, work is away, and so on. You might be asking, how does this topic sentence provide a bridge? Where's the bridge word? I would argue that it's right here, the word also. That shows that what has come before is along the same lines. This is an addition paragraph to what she's discussed before. It's like an additional point also. All right, time for another activity. Here I'm going to give you a paragraph. This comes back from that garden survival guide. And I'm going to give you the thesis, and you have to come up with a topic sentence. So you're going to pause the video in just a second, and you're going to write down a sentence that summarizes the main idea here and somehow links to the thesis about gardeners being proactive and prepared. And you can skip the part about transition because obviously you don't know what you're transitioning from. So see if you can write a topic sentence that will accomplish 2 of the 3 things that a topic sentence should. All right, I'm going to show you the original. Now realize that topic sentences, are going to vary from writer to writer. So here is one option. This is what the original author wrote. But if your topic sentence has something to do with being proactive in preventing weeds, then you are doing good. If your topic sentence had anything to do with getting ahead of the game in combating weeds, then you have a good topic sentence. Because all of the sentences here in the body of the paragraph have to do with keeping weeds out of your garden before they ever even get started. Let's try one more. Again, this comes from the chapter on hospitality. And our thesis, Christians should practice hospitality, something about Christians that's good for Christians to be hospitable. See if you can write a topic sentence that summarizes this paragraph. All right. If you noticed that this paragraph draws a connection between how humans practice hospitality and how God practices hospitality, that's good. If you could find a way to express that in your topic sentence, then you've done well. Here's what the original author wrote. She says, in the Christian doctrine of the Trinity, we find another resource for hospitality. When I've done this exercise in other classes, I've had students who write something like, God himself provides an example for our understanding of hospitality. That could be a great topic sentence, or something along those lines. All right, hopefully this has been helpful for you in extending the ideas that Chapter 6 introduced for us. As always, if you have questions, please send me an email, and I look forward to seeing your topic sentences as you begin writing your essays.